And so let me tell you this. If you are here today and you feel overlooked and you feel unseen to some degree, know that God sees you. And know that at Christmas time, joy is available to you because he goes to shepherds first. He goes to the outsiders first. He goes to the outcasts first. And he brings them what? He brings them joy. Brings them great joy. And the reason why he says you can have joy is because this baby is born. I mean, a baby? That's what brings great joy? Yes. And that's our first point today, the arrival of joy. Joy comes to us. It's not something that we actually can pursue. And that's what's so important for us to understand. Joy is something that's found in a person. It's found in a person, not a pursuit. Listen to me now. It's found in a person, not in chasing after something, which is typically where you and I go, right? That's our natural first step. We kind of aim and say, all right, my goal in life is to be happy. But if you make happiness your goal in life, you will never be happy. Why? Because happiness is always a byproduct of having something else first. And the Christmas story says it's found in this person. Happiness is first found in a person, not in you chasing after whatever you think you need. It's found in a person. Now, strangely enough, right, Jesus, a baby brings joy. And the reason why I say that is because if you know me, you know that for most of my life, I went to a private school. And I'm not going to say always, because that would be unfair, but a lot of the times growing up in this private school, I don't remember seeing a lot of pictures of Jesus with a smile on his face. In other words, if I were to ask you to make a list of the people in your life who you know to be most joyful and most happy, I don't know if Jesus is going to be on the top of your list. But Jesus was a happy person, you guys. He was a joyful person. He was happy. Even though a lot of the pictures we have, we got moody Jesus in some of our paintings. We got moody Jesus. We got floating Jesus. We got crown Jesus with that yellow disc behind his head. We don't know what's going on there. We got no sleep Jesus. His eyes are always droopy. Even though when you read the Gospels, the man was asleep inside of a boat in the middle of a storm. Jesus knew how to take a good nap. I don't think he had a problem sleeping. And then, we got super skinny Jesus too, where you can see his rib cage all the time. But his accusers called him a glutton, you guys. And some have even said when you read the Gospels, Jesus is either leaving a party, on his way to a party, or talking at a party. The man Jesus knew how to have a good time. He was a happy person. He was a joyful person. And the reason why he was is because he perfectly reflected his Father. He mirrored his Father. Look what he says there. Look how he describes heaven and his Father here in Luke 15 there in your notes. In the same way, there is more joy in heaven over one lost sinner who repents and returns to God than over 99 others who are righteous and haven't strayed away. What a picture of heaven. It's a party. It's a celebration. The Father is happy. Get this. God is the happiest person in the universe. You cannot find a happier person than God himself. And Jesus reflected that. Because to understand joy is to understand God. He is joyful. And Jesus brought that joy. Notice how he develops this teaching as he grows and ages. And when he's talking to his disciples there in John chapter 15, it says, when you obey my commandments, you remain in my love. Just as I obey my Father's commandments and remain in his love. I have told you these things. This is why Jesus teaches us. So that you will be filled with my what? Joy. Yes, your joy will overflow. Not only has joy arrived to us, but it's available to us. We can have the joy of Jesus. It's available to us. The joy of Jesus. Man, he was happy. So happy kids loved him. I mean, think about that. Kids loved Jesus. When you read the Gospels, the disciples would get so upset they would be throwing kids off him. Now, kids don't go to grumpy people. And for some of you in here, you've been asking yourself for years, why don't kids like me? Christmas just gave you your answer. He was a joyful person. And here's the good news that the angels were announcing. Here's the gospel in a nutshell. God, the happiest person in the universe, became a human being in his son, Jesus. God, the infinite one, became an infant child. The uncreated creator joined his creation. For many years, Christians have called this the incarnation. It's an important part of the Christmas story. God comes to us and joins us as one of us. It's hard for us, man. Even now, it still kind of boggles our mind to think that God would become a person like you and I. And so to help us understand this Christmas story, let me just give you a real brief analogy from another story, my favorite story, the Star Wars story. Luke Skywalker. Not going to ruin the new one for you. You can go see it. But how will Luke Skywalker ever know who George Lucas is? And some of you are like, I don't even know who George Lucas is. That's okay. George Lucas created all of Star Wars. Right? He created the whole universe, the whole world of Star Wars. George Lucas created the character Luke Skywalker. He's the author. And so the only way that Luke Skywalker, the Jedi that we all know, will ever know his creator, George Lucas, is if George Lucas writes himself into the story and becomes a character in his own story. And that's what Christmas is all about. God writes himself into your story. Your joyless story is charged with joy with this announcement that God is here and joy is available to you. That's what Christmas points us to. And that's what you and I are invited in to experience right now. That's the arrival of joy.